Hi flosstube, I'm Ellen, Make Do Maker on Instagram and here on YouTube, and I'm back. I made a first video and decided to come back and join the many of you who are doing WIP parades. So let's get started. So I'm going to start with the WIP, with my newest WIP. For those of you who are new here or are new to flosstube, a WIP is a work in progress. I'm going to start with one I literally started yesterday and then jump all the way back to sort of my biggest pieces of shame and move forward. I'm not going to move forward chronologically. Literally just kind of whatever I pick up. That's what we're going to talk about. All right, so first, I follow on Instagram Broomsticks and Bobbins. I do not have, before I do this, I don't have a picture of this. I don't have it's a PDF and my printer's out of ink. So I don't have anything to show you, but I'll leave the link to this below. This is called Return to Earth. I don't know if you can pick up on that. We've got a mushroom border, which I absolutely love. And basically it's going to be a big moon, mushrooms, snails. It'll say Return to Earth. It is a piece inspired by decomposition, which I'm all about the mushrooms, all about the decompositions. Yeah, so I'm excited about that. That is on some charcoal, I think it's Weigert charcoal, and that I got from Barefoot Needleart. This is also a project bag from Barefoot Needleart. I really like this. I don't have a million project bags. I shove like a bunch in one, but this is my whatever I'm working on because it'll fit a Q snap in there, an 11-inch Q snap. So that's Return to Earth. I started that yesterday and I already, I just kind of couldn't stop stitching those mushrooms. So excited about that. Okay, now to my very oldest. This is, I would say, probably 8 years old. It's not cross stitch, it is embroidery. And I was at the beach and there was this beautiful little store in an area of North Carolina called Southport. Called Angel Wing Needle Arts, and I picked up this with love from A to Z. It's by Anna Maria Horner. She does a lot of different things. I first was introduced to her through quilting. But anyway, I hadn't done a ton of needlework at this point, so I decided that I was just going to jump in, and I was going to embroider all of the letters from A to Z. I had seen samplers before and knew that there were alphabets on samplers. So I bought a bunch of linen. I didn't know how much I was going to need. And this is not, this is just like regular sewing linen. I don't know. I'm sure there's a difference, but this is nice. I still like it. And there at the beach, I just started stitching the letters, just kind of making up the colors as I went along. And as you can see, you know, they're rather big. So several years ago, I decided I was really going to try and finish this and do all the letters. And last year, I put it on my WIP Go board. And this year, I am smarter. I am wiser. I'll do something with these letters. So that's why it's still in my WIP pile. I am not doing the entire alphabet for this. They're gorgeous. They're beautiful. I love them. I'm not doing the entire alphabet. It's just not happening. I don't love them that much. It would be huge. Like, I don't know. I don't know how big that would end up being. I think each one of those is, how big is that? Is that 8 inches? Maybe about 8 inches. I don't love them that much to have a piece that big in my home. So I'll cut them up. I don't know, maybe I'll make some project bags with them. We'll see. We'll see. Stay tuned. I'll do something with it. I won't let all that stitching go to waste. All right. So that's my very oldest WIP that will have a new life in some way. The rest of these are all cross stitch pieces. And I've been cross stitching for maybe a little over a year. I learned when I was little, like, you know, a lot of us did. I stitched a lot when I was little, but then I sewed, and sewing was my big thing, and quilting was my big thing. And so maybe about 3 years, I started cross stitching again for just a little while. I made like, I think a little Satsuma street bird and really loved it. And I signed up for a Satsuma street stitch along. It was the Alice in Wonderland stitch along. Now, if you watched my last video, my first video, I told you that I inherited a lot of cross stitch supplies, and I did not know that there were different types of fabrics to cross stitch on. So as someone who learned in the early 90s, Ada was the only thing I know. I didn't even know it was called Ada. I just thought it was called cross stitch fabric. And so I kind of pulled out a piece of fabric from this stash of cross stitch supplies I'd been given. And I found one that I thought felt really good, and that was white, and that I thought would be really nice with all those bright colors. So I started stitching, and I was keeping up, but I was like, dang, this is really tough. And I was having trouble getting the thread through. And so it was just becoming a big headache. I'll show it to you in a second. It was becoming a big headache. And so I kind of like wasn't doing the stitch along, and a new piece would come, or a new like month would come, and I'd want to do it and would just be too irritated to pick it up. So finally I picked it up and I started trying to color complete it, which I don't know why, because this is not a good thing to color complete. I didn't know anything. And then probably about 6 months ago, I picked it up and realized that I had a Monaco or an even weave. I still don't know a lot about fabrics, but that I was stitching using 2 threads over 1, right? Because I thought that Ada, right, you just kind of go in the little hole. So it is super, 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 super packed tight. You'll see it looks bonkers. It's really dirty. It looks crazy because I was trying to color complete it with just the things that I had. It's really cute. I will probably finish it. I will probably finish it. I might just use 1 thread for the rest of it. We'll see how that looks. That'll be interesting. Or I might just find my my sharpest needle and just try to push through. But anyway, that is an Alice in Wonderland stitch along from several years ago on very dirty fabric. Stitch 2/1. I'll pick that up. We'll see. All right, so this next one, I began about this time last year. It is the Walk Fast piece by Lindy Stitches, and it's big. So somebody on Instagram started this as a sale because it was going to be Betty White's 100th birthday in January of last year. Well, we all know that that didn't happen, and so this became a memorial piece for Betty White because it's a quote from Golden Girls. It's like that old Scandinavian saying, you can lead a herring to water, and then the rest of the thing is, but you better walk fast or else it'll die, or something like that. Anyway, that's Walk Fast. That was my first time stitching in hand. And so, you know, tension's kind of funny. I don't care. It's fine. It's fun. It's a really fun piece to stitch. The colors are really bright. I made a little project bag to go with it with roses because of Rose Nylon from the Golden Girls. So yeah, those are probably my two brightest pieces, and they're my two oldest pieces. So that probably says something about my evolving style. All right. Next up, I started this last summer. I actually kept the tag on this. There are not going to be many that I can tell you what the fabrics are. Sorry, I'm not good at stuff like that. I'm trying to be better. I am trying to be better. Look, I have a whole page. I have a whole page in my journal where I'm going to write down my finishes, as well as what I stitched them on. That more than flosses, which I love stitching on with some good flosses, but that even more than the flosses, I'm usually like, I really like that. What was that? And can never remember. But this is on Fox and Rabbit's 32 count Mayflower. This is the Robin Hood Sampler by ParkHopper Bart. ParkHopper Bart. I love it. I made a mistake somewhere around here and I kind of rage quit. But I'll come back to it. I just love it. This is mainly done with Roxy Floss Co. Threads, flosses. Whatever. All right. Next up, 1844 Ladyman. I started this in August, and as I said in my last video, have been stitching it, like waking up at 5 o'clock and stitching it in the dark. There's my progress. So I still got some work. Still got some work. But it's okay. I enjoy it. I don't... No clue what that's stitched on. A linen. Stitched on linen. All right. This is my bird bag. Oh, and this is another bag that I made. I went through, I made several bags for myself and I had no idea what I was doing. So measurements are kind of funny on them, but I was just playing around. I really don't care. I got a bunch of zippers from our Habitat home store. I just found a big pile of zippers. So I just kind of matched up the colors for the zippers. And that's some rifle paper that I love. Okay, here's my bird bag. All of my bird projects are in here. It's another one I made with like a, it sounds better if I say a vintage zipper when really it's just an old 10-cent zipper from a Habitat home store. But it is on some very nice rifle paper and some kind of scrap fabric up there. I love stitching birds. This is Lindy Stitches Tread Softly. Love that. That is really fun to stitch on too. This is one of those, I really wish I knew where the card for the fabric is, because I love stitching on this fabric. I mainly stitch it in hand and it still has this nice like crispness to it. It's just really, really lovely. That's the whole thing. I finally got down to the branch. I've been stitching on this thing for about a year. Not a year. I've been stitching on it for a little while. On and off. And I absolutely love the owl, but that branch makes me so happy. And the other night, we watched Bedknobs and Broomsticks. And I was like, I have to have something colorful to stitch for when they get under the ocean. If you have seen that, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen that, what are you doing? It was like released in '71. Angela Lansbury's in it. She's amazing. Anyway, so I finally got down to the branch. And I got to stitch it while we were under the water, and I don't know, that's ridiculous, but it made me very happy. On a different note, if you have not seen Bedknobs and Broomsticks in a while, the end is way more abrupt than I remembered. Like, it's just kind of all of a sudden, she decides she's not going to be a witch anymore after all these amazing things that she's done, and he decides to go off to war. Like, it's done. It was kind of like a, it was a little whiplashy. But I love it up until that point. Okay, anyway, after that sort of weird, very old movie walk. Not very old. I started this with the intention of finishing it before Christmas, but I had so many other things that didn't get done. It's called a simple sampler. A new day has come. It's from Artful Offerings. Sweet little robins. And once I decided that this wasn't going to get done, I just kind of haven't picked it up in a while. So that's the start that I have. So, not much. Not much, not much. This is going to be a fun one to outline and fill in, I think. Just because there's so much sort of outline and fill in. I'm making this for my dad, which I mean, he'll never watch this, so if any of my siblings watch this, just don't tell them. And what I'm going to do is all of us in our immediate family, I'm just going to do the letters a different color. He'll love that. He'll love it. He'll love it. It could be poop on a page. If I did it, he'd love it. Because that's just him. All right. My last bird that I'm working on is Blackbird Fraktur. Fraktur? I don't know. Plum Street samplers. And I just have a very small start. I don't know what fabric this is. I have a ton of it though, which I'm super excited about. I was taking it out to kind of inventory everything, and I was like, holy cow, I didn't realize I had so much of that fabric. Like, that might be a half-yard cut for that. I think, I'm just remembering this, I think I originally got that fabric for hold on. I think I originally got that fabric for the moons of 2022. I'll talk about that in a bit. I think that's why I got so much of it, because that's kind of a bigger piece, but whatever. I got more fabric for that. Okay. Those are all my birbs. Those are all my birbs. Next up, with another retro zipper. You can always hear the vintage zippers because they like are not smooth. Whatever, that's all right. This is another older WIP. I got this as a kit from Stitched Modern, and it's dated. Oh, I don't know what the copyright is. It's older. Like, I don't want to show the chart, but like it's typed on a typewriter and drawn out. Written in a different language. 1947. That's the copyright on it. It is basically an Amanita muscaria. Those are those little red capped mushrooms that are, you know, they're kind of seen everywhere in folklore. I don't know if you can see this. There are 4 in the series. That's the one that I'm stitching right now. I just love them. Oh, it's Dutch. Okay, that's Dutch. And I don't know. It's called Danish embroidery, Danish flower thread. I don't know what that is. But these are all the flosses that came with it. They're real sweet. Oh, here we go. Oh, this was a New Year's start for me. So started 12/31/21. See, at one point I was really good at labeling things. I think that it's probably because it was New Year's Eve and I was like, I'm going to label everything this new year. I think I labeled 2 things this new year. So, 21. So I started that a year ago. Really? 21? It's 12/22. Wow, this has been a full year of stitching. I feel like this is several years old. I guess I haven't really gone back to it. Maybe that's why. Anyway, this was my first linen. I've only been stitching on linen for a year. Look at that. It's a real rough kind of open linen. Just came with it. And this is from last year. This is the Laurel Witch's Merry Witchmas Advent calendar, I think is what it was. Anyway, she released 1 freebie a day last year. This was my first time stitching on 20 count Ada. There's a lot of like, now that I'm going back through my pile, I'm seeing a lot of mistakes and a lot of like, I didn't know any better. I didn't start watching flosstube until like just a few months ago, maybe a little bit longer than a few months ago. But you know, you learn a lot by listening to other people. And anyway, I was just kind of stitching on my own. Anyway, this is on 20 count, and I was doing 2 over 1 on 20 count, and finding it just kind of difficult. I mean, you can, it's okay. It's okay. This is, you know, it's all right. I don't know if you can see that. But then I decided that I actually liked stitching 1 over 1 on 20 count better. So some of these are 1 over 1, some of them are 2 over 1. I got it out this year thinking that I was going to finish them, and then I decided that I don't like them on this fabric. I like this fabric. I don't like these on this fabric. It's just, it's a little too cutesy. I don't know. So I'll probably finish those 5. Kind of like that alphabet thing I'm doing. I'll finish the 5, and then I will maybe just kind of do 5 little banners. I might take the numbers off just so they're not numbered. We'll see. I love them though. Gosh, I love them. I want to stitch everything that the Laurel Witch has. But I don't have very many of her WIPs, and I don't know why. It's kind of one of those things that I'm like, oh, I'll do that one. No, I'll do that one. And then I end up not doing hardly any of them because I can't decide. It's also one of those things that I like when I'm looking in her shop. I get an idea. I'm like, okay, I would love this one beside this one, and then another set over here of this one and this one. And it's kind of, it's like, well, I can't start one if I can't do 10 of them. I can. I just need to get over that. All right. This is a sad little start. And I don't think I'm going to do it on this fabric. So this is, I don't have a printout of this either. I don't like printing stuff out. I mean, I like having physical copies, but I also don't like wasting the ink in the paper. So I don't have very many where I've like printed out the full thing. Sorry. If I can figure out how to insert pictures, I will do so. Anyway, this little tiny start is Modern Folk Embroideries. Okay, let me see if I can say it. I apologize. Jolakatturinn is the Yule Cat, which is just amazing. And if you haven't heard Jacob's overview of what the Yule Cat is, I would definitely go to his channel and take a look at that video. This is one of his, it's technically kind of a Christmas, I mean, the Yule Cat's kind of a Christmas, but it's this perfect, it's also one of his dark stitches. So it has this beautiful, amazing border, and then this just like hissing cat who is planning on eating children who do not mend their clothes or appreciate getting clothes for Christmas. It's awesome. Anyway, I started stitching this, and I did it. This is a, yeah, it's a vintage country mocha, or mocha. Vintage country mocha. I don't like it on there. I thought I would, and I also was planning on doing, this is another, my ideas like get in the way of me actually doing it. I was planning on doing the Yule Cat with this, and have some Leo and Roxy. It's a really lovely dark green. don't remember. I think it's in the other room. Sorry, Roxy Flosco, not Leo and Roxy. So I was planning on doing that, and then on a different one, doing the Yule Goat from Modern Folk Embroidery, doing it in a green with like this color stitching, so they would be kind of companion pieces. I'm not going to do that. I think that would be really neat, but I don't love this fabric for this. So that's the only start that I have, and that's a sulky. It's my first time stitching with sulky. So I think I'm just going to start it over on a different fabric and use this for something a little more twee, sweet, vintagey, sampler-esque. Looks like houses belong on there. Lots of little houses. We'll figure it out. All right. Okay. So, I'll talk about both of these at the same time. I'll save that for last. All right, here are my kind of fallish things. I participated in the Dark October stitching and seance this year, which was a lot of fun. It was my first like live stitching, kind of my first taking part in stitching community stuff, and I just really enjoyed it, and I had a lot of fun. This was a pattern that CozyEgg, Michelle? All right, now I'm blanking. With CozyEgg sent out. It's a planchette. I'll have 2 keys there, and then like a door with a keyhole. I don't remember if this one says, I know all 4 of the kind of elemental symbols are on there too. I don't think this one says Dark October Seance. But I'll finish that one. That one was just fun, and I do have the flosses for that right here, which is a combination of Roxy Floss Co., of course, and some Forbidden Fibers. So I got these in a Starlight Stitchery box. It's familiar. Runestone, full moon, and then charcoal and chalkboard, which are 2 blackishes that I just love. All right. This is sad. Every time I look at it, it makes me sad. Not the pattern. Pattern's precious. This is Uncanny Kari's Midnight at the Pumpkin Patch. I have done so little on this. I don't even know which way is up. Maybe that. Maybe that. I don't know. Anyway, that was my little baby start for Midnight at the Pumpkin Patch. I switched out. I'm not a big hot pink person. At all. I appreciate that other people like it a lot. I just like things a little more toned down, earthy. So I switched up the colors a little bit. I don't know. It's gonna be cute, I think. I just gotta do it. And that's on some Forbidden Fiber Co. I think. Don't get me in trouble. Came in the Starlight Stitchery box. This fabric is either dyed by Starlight Stitchery or Forbidden Fiber Co. Are y'all the same? Are y'all different? I don't know. I Gotta figure that one out. All right, and we have, this is from the Just Cross Stitch Halloween from this year. Punochka. Nevermore. It's the Raven. I'm an English teacher. Again, Roxy Flosco. This, I think this was a one of a kind. It's licorice all sorts, and you can't really see it, but it's like the black is sort of purpley and bluey, and it's just, it was perfect for this. So that's what I have on it. I should just finish. This fabric is Fox and Rabbit. It is Lyrebird, Lyra bird. I don't know if that's one of their, like the ones that they always have. I love it. I love it. I love it. I ordered it thinking it was going to be a lot greener because I ordered it online. I don't know where from. I thought it was going to be a lot greener. So at first I was kind of disappointed when I saw it because I was expecting, I don't see the green color I was expecting. I was expecting like a really sort of deep dark green. And that's you know, just a monitor thing. But I love this. I love it. It feels good. I love the color because it's kind of gray-y and kind of blue-y. But I love it even more because of what it's named. And I recently found a clip. It was an old BBC clip. Sorry. I'm going to ramble at just about everything. So I'm just giving you a warning on that. Sorry, is what it is. But anyway, I saw a video. It's an old BBC video of a lyrebird, and it was like doing its call. And all of a sudden, it started making camera noises. And then noises of a camera that has like the little like little kind of, I don't know, mechanical noises in it. And then it started making noises of like chainsaws and car alarms and car sirens. And we have mockingbirds here that make a lot of fun, exciting noises. But usually it's like microwave dings and car alarms and mocking other birds. But this was bonkers. This was bananas. I will leave a link to that video. The video is like 15 years old, and everybody's probably like, yeah, Ellen, we know, we are aware that that is what it does. But still, it's really funny. It like opens its mouth and you're like, there's no way that that bird is making that noise. But it is. Anyway, that's the Raven on my Artful fabric. Okay, I need y'all's help with this one. So I decided to work on Urban Stitches, that which doesn't kill us, or doesn't kill you, that which does not kill you. It's a blackwork sampler that's got just really, it's got lots of jars. It's really beautiful. This is as far as I've gotten. And the reason is not because it's black work. Maybe it's because it's black work and I'm just not a great stitcher. I don't know. So I'm going to need y'all's help. Because I started stitching this with a DMC satin 310. And it's awful. Like, I don't know if I just don't know how to stitch with it, or I don't know. maybe I just don't like stitching in black work, or maybe that type of thread shouldn't be used for stitching black work. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you've had a similar, and this is just on some Aida from my stash. I started stitching it on linen that I thought it would be really beautiful on, and I was like, whoa, no way. I need something a little more predictable for black work. So I think this is maybe 16 count Aida. I don't know. This is in the never-ending stash of, basically, if I am stitching on a white Aida or an off-white Aida or an even weave that's white or off-white, or any just flat color Aida, it's probably about 20 years old. It's from the inheritance stash. Okay, that's that project bag. I like to stuff a lot in my project bags. And then finally, we have Moonlight Sampler by Janine McCowan, Blue Flower. I love this so much. I love it. I love it. I love it. This dog right here has similar markings to one of my dogs, except this dog's markings are like kind of orangish and mine are in those same spots but are gray. So of course I'm going to change the color. I'm going to make that cat orange for a little cat that we just lost. I love, love, love. If you've seen this, you're familiar with it. The possum mama with all her little possums. I just love it. Beautiful datura and the moonflowers, which are just gorgeous. That's what I have. You know, so not a shabby start. I started this before I knew about working copies. And so I've lost track. I've lost track on the iron. So that kind of stymied my flow for a bit, because I put it down and picked it back up and I was like, I don't know where I am. So I'll just have to go back, and I need to make a copy and then highlight that where I am with that iron. I make a lot of mistakes by miscounting. It's dumb. Anyway, I usually just go with it. And for the most part, I just kind of wait it out, see if you can tell, see if I can fix it. If it's real bad, I'll frog it, but for the most part, I just kind of make do with it. All right, so my last WIP, and this is going to move us into, I'm going to talk a little bit about my plans for the year, which won't take nearly as long as all this. I promise I won't go on tangents as much. Okay, so I don't have a project bag for this. What Remains by Blackbird Design. In my first video, my last video, I talked a little bit about my aunt who was a stitcher, who died from cancer this year. And when she was, it was when hospice had first started. My spouse and I we live near the beach. And so we went to Barefoot Needleart, and I found this, and I thought, I'll stitch that. So in my aunt's kind of last days, while I was sitting over there, I was stitching on this. I, years ago, made her a quilt from a Blackbird Design quilt book. It's this, I have to get it and show it later. Anyway, I had made her a Blackbird Designs quilt before, and so I thought this was really, really perfect What remains is love. And that's what I've stitched. This is kind of a slow going one. Oops, I need to take my needle out. Kind of a heathen. Sometimes I just leave my needle in. Does anybody else do that? If you stitch in hand, do you just stick your needle in there and leave it? I know that's bad. Probably should make a needle book. This one's kind of, you know, it's slow going because I don't stitch on it all the time. I stitched on it sitting at her house, visiting. Yeah, and then just days I'll kind of pick it up and sit and stitch on it and think of her. So I love it. There's a date at the bottom, and I haven't decided if I'm going to put 2022 on there. I mean, obviously I'm not going to finish it in 2022, but that feels like the best date to put there. Okay, so went to Barefoot Stitches, not Barefoot Stitches, Barefoot Needleart, and got that, and then they're turning into my like road trip when I need help coping with something. Love y'all. Anyway, recently my cat died. Sorry. I just, one led to the other. But anyway, we went there, and because I needed to like process and cope, and found this. This is one of theirs, Barefoot Needleart's own patterns. It's called Pet Remembrance. And it has that. It has like the tree and then the silhouettes and then a couple of different things that you can write on. And then there are some patterns for some tiny little pillows. They have it finished in this sweet little box. Yeah, so I got that. This is part of my plan for the new year, is to stitch that and stitch a little orange kitty on the tree. Little Momo. Okay, so first, that's planned to do the Pet Remembrance. And then also, I want to do a lot of finishes. So finishing is definitely going to be a focus. I have plenty of things that I need to finish. Some that are really close to finishing, some that are not. But that, yeah, deserve some love. Just sitting here, there are several that I'm like, this. How have I not finished that yet? Like, I need to do that and finish the feather, and I'd be done. Like, I could do that this weekend. Anyway, I won't. I'll stitch Return to Earth. I'll keep stitching those mushrooms. Anyway, my focus is to do some finishes, to get a lot of those things finished and framed and, you know, up. But I do have some other plans and other starts that I'd like to do. So this will be my New Year's start. It's the Moons of 2022. Kathy Barrick. Someone is doing this and they're going to rechart instead of saying the Moons of 22, or just going to say the moons. Maybe Michelle, Bendy, Stitchy. Am I right? Am I remembering that correctly? Anyway, hopefully someone's already going to chart it. If not, I'll just chart out. It won't say the moons of 2022. It'll just say the moons. Because with the, except for like a blood moon every now and then, the months, the moons of each month, the names pretty much stay the same. So I'll be starting that. I already have my fabric for it since apparently I used my other fabric. This is Rogue. It's 36 count linen by Rogue. It's weathered stone. Love the modeling in that. I don't know if you can see it very well. That was really pretty. It's got kind of a greenish tint to it, sort of cratery. Okay, so that one I'm definitely starting soon. I'm really close. The Tread Softly, the big Lindy Stitches Owl I was showing. I feel like I'm fairly close to a finish on that. And then after that, I have several, I have a lot of Lindy Stitches birds. You know, she does birds well. I have Stars Bright that I want to start. Love the little Afghan pattern. It says, we would be together and have our books, and at night we'll be warm in our bed together with the windows open and the stars bright. So I want to work on that. It's kind of a little companion piece. Maybe I forget the rest. Maybe. I love owls. And so I was part of her Bird Crush Club. You'll notice that you see no no whips from the Bird Crush Club, because I like have them all hoarded, like in this, they're all kind of together, and I haven't started on any of them yet. But so those might be in the plan for this year. But we got a bonus, the Armchair Ornithologist, which I think is absolutely precious. Looks like it's a lot of fun to stitch. All those tiny little birbs. And each one of those birds is one from the kits this year. So yeah. I might start that one soon. That one looks like a lot of fun. Looks like you could just kind of stitch one little thing and put it down. I love it. I love it. Okay. I have had this. So I said I don't print things out. When I first started, so probably about this time last year when I was first kind of being introduced to more modern cross stitch, and by modern cross stitch I don't necessarily mean modern style. I just mean not geese with blue bows around their neck. Anyway, when I was learning more about different designers, I fell in love with Long Dog. I have not done a Long Dog. I feel like that's like way above my, I love them. I got too many other things going on, and that's a lot of counting. So I just know that it would end up the way of this with like a tiny little start, or this with a tiny little start and me like, and I'm also scared I would mess it up. But anyway, I was looking at her website and didn't realize in the very beginning, because you see the Long Dogs and you see like Pandemic and Templar Prophecy and all of those pieces. And I saw this Beauty Spot and love it. Love it, love it. I love, 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 love these like fantastical creatures. I guess they're not really fantastical, but the whole thing, it feels like it's from an illuminated text. It feels like a medieval thing. Anyway, I really want to get started with this year. And if I don't do the whole thing, I definitely at least want to do those strawberries. I love them. I love the whole thing though. It is nothing like anything else that I have going on for stitching, but I love it, and I have loved it. And that copy has been printed out for a little bit now. So that's a plan. The color of winter, I would like to start. This might be, I love those goats. Says the color of springtime is in the flowers. The color of winter is in the imagination. It's another Janine McGowan with the blue flower. I might, if I finish Moonlight Sampler, I might wait to finish Moonlight Sampler. No, I might wait to start this until I finish Moonlight Sampler. But this is pretty much kitted up and ready to go. So, you know, I might not wait. It'll be all right. This is Second Day of Christmas, Sampler and Tree. This is one of the Hello from Liz Matthews. I just love the little birds. Love a bird. Okay. And lastly, I was watching Miss Allie at Misfit Stitches, and she's been getting, and Amanda May at Art of Designs does this too, have been getting vintagey, just vintage cross-stitch patterns and trying to update them and make them new. And I found this Prairie Schooler. It's book number 4. So from Prairie Schooler, it's number 4. It's the Birmingham Musicians, which I love that story. Anyway, it's a long piece. It's a long bell pull style. The colors are super muted and and just kind of in an older way. So I'm going to update them. I'm going to update those colors, do a little conversion, see what fun I can have with the colors in there. Sorry. I love a bird, but more than that, I love a donkey. He's a good one. He's a good one. Hello. I'm not going to flash the pattern. I mean, it's really old, but I think this one's good. What is the year on this anyway? 84. 84. So this is solid in the, you know, teddy bear, goose with a ribbon, cross stitch world. All right. Thanks for sticking around if you're still here with me. I know that was a lot, and a lot of me rambling, talking about my pieces, talking about my plans. More than anything, you know, I just want to have fun stitching. So we'll see what I finish. We'll see what I start. I am hoping to do a better job of keeping track of my finishes, keeping track of my flosses, my conversions, and my fabrics throughout the new year. So I will probably be starting like a highlight on Instagram for my progress for the year to help me keep track. And I'll be writing them down in my planner too. So follow along with me, see what I finish this year, see what I work on this year. And if you watch this and if you're working on any of the same things, let me know. We'll turn it into a stitch along, and we'll check in on progress. But thank you again. I really have appreciated the really kind response I got to my first video. So I'm excited to be back here. Like I said, we'll see how long it lasts. I may be one of those people who puts out 2 videos and then doesn't do anything for 4 months. So we'll see. I make no promises. But in the meantime, you can get in touch with me either by commenting below. I'm, you know, really enjoy reading those. Reaching out to me on Instagram, where I am make_do_maker, make_do_maker on Instagram. So thanks so much, and y'all take care of yourselves. Bye.